Hey guys, Pieguyrulz here, and welcome to Square Theory. Today we're going to be talking about continuity. We all know SpongeBob has very, very little continuity. What I mean by this is that episodes don't affect other episodes. Nothing in an episode is going to reference something that happened in the past, and nothing in an episode is going to be built upon further in a newer episode. That's basically how it works, and with slight exceptions like Bubble Buddy's son returning, SpongeBob has very, very little continuity. And in fact, it has bad continuity because things that they say actively contradict things that happened in other episodes. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, actually, I think it's both, depending on how long the show's going to run. See, if the show was only going to run for a few seasons, let's just say, I don't know, 3, the lack of continuity worked out pretty well. It let them tell whatever jokes they wanted to and not have to worry about, did this happen in a previous episode? Did SpongeBob say he was ambidextrous? Is he right-handed, left-handed? Does he have 2 left hands? We don't have to worry about that because they just want to tell whatever comedy they want to tell. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. But so be it. The show doesn't make sense. It's about an undersea sponge. People like to nitpick, and I do it too. It's interesting trivia to know when these little things happen, and yes, in some cases, it isn't really to tell a joke so much as a stupid oversight. But so be it. You can play a game of arranging the episodes so the continuity makes sense in your mind, or you could just say, you know what, it's a cartoon about a talking sponge. It's funny, so it doesn't matter that much. However, this becomes a bad thing if the show were to go on for, 9+ seasons. And it's a bad thing not just because things contradict each other. We can forgive the logical fallacies. Again, talking sponge. What's really the problem is that the lack of continuity doesn't let the characters grow or change, doesn't let the environment grow or change. It lets nothing evolve in how many years? Coming up on, actually, we're at 15 years right now. Yeah, even the 10th anniversary special couldn't reference anything that happened in a previous episode. They couldn't have been so kind. Let's take, for example, a show like The Simpsons, which has been running for a lot longer than SpongeBob. Yes, for the most part, it's episodic. For the most part, the characters don't change, and a lot of things are reset by the end of the episode. But not everything. Lisa became a vegetarian. Characters in the background die. Characters in the background date each other. Characters in the background get to grow and change, and sometimes the main characters do as well. It makes it feel like the world is a bigger place, even if, yes, Maggie will never grow up, even if Bart will always be mischievous, no matter how many times he learns his lesson. At least little things change, so the viewing experience is refreshed. It lets you keep the main characters pretty much static, but it lets the world around it be evolved. SpongeBob does nothing of the sort. Again, aside from, Bubble Buddy's son returning, outside of Glove World reappearing, outside of little things, we don't get to see many things change or evolve throughout the course of the show. And I'm not saying that the show needs to have like an Avatar: The Last Airbender huge story arc type thing. It would just be nice if, a few things got to change in the background. Because when the show goes on this long, there's only one change that's going to happen if the show doesn't actually care to keep any sort of continuity or actual growth, is that the characters are going to go down. Blanderization. The writers want to constantly top themselves in terms of things like Patrick's stupidity, in terms of things like how much Squidward gets tortured, in terms of things like how much Mr. Krabs likes money. They want to keep topping themselves over and over again, so eventually all you have is really one-dimensional characters, and it's boring to see over and over again. And that's why continuity is a bad thing for SpongeBob if it's going to go on for this long. Just a little bit would go a long way. A few references to previous episodes, just even slight ones. And yes, I know they do this from time to time, but not often. More often than not, they're just going to contradict something that happened, and this is a problem in Season 5. There's something that they keep bringing up that keeps contradicting itself, and It's more of a problem for the repetition. It's more of the problem because it kind of shows that the writers just don't care. Rather than make up something new, they'd rather just have Plankton almost get the secret formula 1,028 times. Instead of having the character change and grow, or have something else happen, have him have other desires. And whenever we do see a different side to a character, it doesn't last more than an episode. And I think that's probably the biggest problem, is that if they were to build off these things, if we were to see these really far background characters appear again, then maybe the show would be just a little bit better. Then maybe the show would feel like a better, more cohesive experience. But as it is now, it's just a bunch of shattered episodes. I still believe that for a few seasons you can get away with the lack of continuity. But if you're going to go on this long, you need to have at least a little bit. And that's what I truly think about continuity in SpongeBob. As far as logical errors, yes, it can be frustrating and it can show that the writers don't care. But the biggest problem is that it's repetitious and it doesn't let the show grow or change in any way. That's my 2 cents. Pieguyrulz.